What is value stream management? Today's flow short topic. Hi, I'm Joshua Barnes, and once again, I'm joined by Steve Pereira. So this is one of the topics that obviously comes up quite a bit, right? As far as like, what is value stream management? And is it new? And no, it's not new. And what does it do? Or again, some of the things that we've covered in some of these other flow shorts, like we don't have value streams. Well, more than likely you do. So what I thought I'd do is this time, just have Steve, maybe if you want to give a little bit of the context, especially from the VSMC perspective, and then we'll also get into some of the assets that we can show you that are available for usage.
Yeah, it sounds great to me. When I think about value stream management, we're stepping back to that question that you hear all the time. It's like, do we have value streams? And I don't know, like where they are and what they look like. If we're thinking about all the ways that your organization delivers value, the things that happen before that are your value streams. And so if you're looking at this end-to-end flow of activity that results in delivered value in the organization, from a perspective of not really knowing what that looks like, it tends to be somewhat convoluted and a little bit messy.
Yeah.
But value stream management, I think, is really the practice of sorting that out and getting a sense of clarity and ownership and mastery over that to wrangle that chaos into something that is clear and measured and managed. And we know that you can't measure things that you can't see, and you can't manage things that aren't measured. So value stream management really, to me, comes down to visualizing these flows of activity and then applying analysis and measurement and visibility so that you can have a greater sense of control over their direction, whether you want them to be more efficient, more effective, more innovative, more standardized. There's a lot that you can do once you start looking at your value streams and start analyzing their performance. And yeah, that's I could say a lot, but we're on a short.
We're on a short. Yeah, and one of the things that I like to mention to people is that value stream management and looking at how to improve flow from an end-to-end perspective, right? From a stakeholder customer request, right? The big idea to something that's consumable can solve a lot of the challenges or bring a lot of the benefits that I think a lot of organizations thought they were going to get out of adopting Agile. Agile's done a lot for organizations and for teams, but that is one part in that flow of work, right? And if you're optimizing just that and you're spending a lot of time and a lot of money, like we've seen over the past 20 plus years now, you might not be getting the results. You might be on your third or fourth wave of trying to, go through an organizational transformation, change your way of working. And really by expanding and looking at that end to end and having it visualized and seeing really where some of those constraints are, that really brings a different focus.
Yeah, and I also think there's a lot to be said about a project context here, right? Like moving from a project operating model to a product operating model, or essentially what we're doing is pulling people in to do some work for a temporary engagement versus this continuous flow of activity with participants who are hopefully more dedicated to a specific stream of activity. You see a higher level of investment in that case. You have a stronger affinity for making performance improvements. There's a lot of benefits that you get from considering your activity in terms of value streams and delivering products and services rather than ad hoc projects that can be a little bit more disruptive, a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more rushing to a deadline and then disbanded, or you go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. So one of the things I did want to make sure we brought up was VSM is not VSM, right? There is a difference between value stream mapping in value stream management. We've touched on this, I think, in a few of the other flow shorts, but I thought what I would do is be able to show some of the things that the Value Stream Management Consortium provides to the members. So if you're a member, this is something you have access to, and if you're not a member yet, this is the type of stuff, right? So the difference between these two, and I can just actually make it on the right thing here. Just kind of click through, right? What is value stream management? A comparison between mapping and management, all the way on through, right? So these types of assets that are out there, right? We have members that you download this and they use it in presentations, or we had somebody that used this in communicating to leadership at their organization why value stream management is something that they need to be interested in. So there's a lot of that type of content. And in the chat, I'll also, let me go ahead and grab the link. I'll post a link to the article that this is originally from, just so that's also there as well. Yeah, so lots of great content to drill down even further into. One of the things that, Steve, I think you and I talked about in one of the previous flow shorts is also just from a measurement perspective, right? We talked a little bit about measures. I think you had some things that you shared as far as like how AI can be taking a look at things from a flow perspective and raising awareness of where some of the delays are at or where a constraint might be. And that from an end-to-end perspective is so different than what most people are either thinking about or focusing on.
Yeah, that's a really interesting topic. We could spend a whole flow short on that. We probably should and will. I think that, what we're about to see is almost like a resurgence of the conditions that brought about DevOps, acceleration of software development, because all of a sudden it's easier to produce, but not necessarily making a positive impact on the actual constraint of the overall flow. So you might have this increased capacity to generate work, content, artifacts, code, that then becomes a downstream problem because all of a sudden you're flooding a constrained stage in the value stream. And so, I would love to see organizations really invest in value stream management prior to making decisions on where do we apply AI, where are we going to augment our delivery and development processes, because you can easily make things worse if you just turn the dial in one specific stage without considering the overall flow.
Yeah. And so it's interesting how in the future, in the very near future, it might be a lot quicker and lower cost to be pumping out more functionality, right? Become even a bigger feature factory without recognizing, is it valuable? I mean, I was in a discussion a couple of weeks ago with somebody on this, and it's like, well, for something like StreamYard, I don't know, we're using StreamYard for the broadcasting. If there were 100 new bits of functionality on this and it just got to be more crowded for me to figure out, like, I got to go here, I got to go there. And it's a lot of stuff that I'll never use. That's not really valuable. It's just more stuff. So really determining value is critical.
Yeah. And it could, it could result in a bunch of, outages, errors, support requests, a lot of confusion. You could just be creating a new way to flood the internet with bad reviews as a result of your efforts to add new functionality. So it does really bear some consideration about where to apply this judiciously.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for more information, there is a link to the blog. There is a link to the VSMC itself. Any other questions or thoughts, by all means, keep posting on this. If you're watching this on replay, we'll kind of monitor it and get a response as quickly as possible. On a personal note, I'll say Steve's been on a book tour. So Flow Engineering is Steve's book that got published within the past couple of weeks. I think I'm into the second or third chapter. got great stuff in it. I've got a bunch of value stream management workshops coming up. I'll post a link to that. And if you also, as we're working through the blogs and the blog entries of the VSMC, and again, we're trying to showcase a lot of that. If there's anything in particular that you have interest in, by all means, send us a note. We'll try to work that into the queue maybe earlier from a Flowshorts perspective, or it's something that maybe, again, a new blog post can be written, something else that can be created within the community to help satisfy what you're looking for.
Yeah, lots to talk about.
Yeah. And with that, I'll say thank you all for joining. Oh, wait, let me pull up one. Let's see. Let me get to Helen's. Yeah. So yesterday's.
Oh yeah, we did a flow session yesterday. Good
Yeah.
memory, Helen. Appreciate that.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Flow Short. We'll see you next week. And until then,
take care.